Hey everybody, I'm Sin. Welcome to the Book Nook. Today we're going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. I've already made 3 videos, but hey, I'm still a noob, so we're going to do this Booktube. So, the first question in the tag is, why did you start this channel? Well, I didn't start it as a Booktube channel. In fact, this is for our Rock Lobster Streams channel. Me and my partner, we stream over on Twitch, and we had started the channel in lieu of us having a lot of content over on Twitch. And we thought that somehow we would merge this, and it just never really happened. We have a few videos that are several years old. We used to do some cooking streams, and then we have several with our friend John Tenney, who is a paranormal investigator. And then most recently, I started doing a wrap-up of all the indie games that I play. Once a month we do that. And then I recently started making these book videos, and I started doing that because I have been reading for 1,000,000,000,000 years, and I didn't really even know Booktube existed and until basically I made my first video. And I started looking around for other people who did reviews and discovered a whole world that was unbeknownst to me. So it's been pretty cool, and I've since then followed several of the booktubers that I like, and yeah, I guess. So this channel existed before and was not specifically created to be a booktube channel, but that's kind of where it's heading, I feel. Sort of. We're still going to talk about indie games, we're still going to have some stuff related to the channel, but it's going to be more probably indie games and book focused. So yeah. The next question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I have no idea. I really don't. I like really weird stuff. Into the paranormal scene with ghosts and cryptids and haunted places and just weird stuff. I cook. I eat plant-based. I don't know if any of that is tying in anything unique. I don't know. We also stream video games on Twitch. I feel like everyone does these days. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I bring that's fun and unique. I'm into weird stuff. If you want weird topics and weird books, I guess you can get your fill here, and that's maybe more unique. I don't know. This is like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I still don't know the answer to that either, so here we are. So next question. What are you most excited about for this new channel? So what I'm most excited about is to have a place to talk about books. I have a few friends who read, but none that I talk to on a regular basis. And to be more involved in a community that is involved in reading and books and find more people to talk to about it would be really exciting for me. So I guess the prospect of making new connections with people who read is probably the thing I'm most excited about. Why do I love reading? I started reading as a kid. The books I remember the most were like Goodnight Moon. I had a book that when I was little, my mom used to read it to me like every night, and I had it memorized. I couldn't read it yet because I was probably like 3, but I had it memorized and I would read it to her. So from an early age, my mom always read to me, and reading has been a big thing in our family. And then when I was old enough, we would go to the library and just get stacks and stacks of books. And as I became older, I really got into horror books. Like, I loved horror. YA horror, regular horror. I read a lot of Christopher Pike, R.L. Stine, Stephen King, Anne Rice. Those are the authors that specifically pop into my brain of like early on reading. And just immersed myself in those dark and dangerous worlds of the teenage years, I guess. And I guess maybe that sparked my love. I think it came from a really young age, like a collaboration of having that being a big thing in my family, having my mom read to me when I was young, just taking me to the library so I could just get all these books for free and read them. The library is great. I finally just went to the library that's near where I live, and it's awesome. It's large. We moved recently, so this is the first time I've been to that one. You can actually park in the parking lot. We used to live in a city that like parking was freaking impossible, and now we live kind of more out in the sticks. So there's parking lots when you go to places, which is nice, and you don't have to pay for parking. Yay. I don't know. I've loved reading since I was a kid. It's intrinsic to who I am, and yeah, it's just been there ever since I was a wee little sin. So yeah. Next question is, which book or series got you into reading? Well, there was no one book. No one book just jumps out in my brain. But I would say the two series I read, well, I read the R.L. Stine Fear Street series, and then I read a ton of Christopher Pike. And I guess if that maybe is what got me into it, I don't know. I guess so. I guess that's what did. So the next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I guess I would ask, what do you love about Booktube and what do you hate about Booktube? What's the most difficult thing you find about Booktube, which might entail into what do you hate about Booktube? How did you get your start? How long did it take you? I have a lot of questions. I could probably go on for a while. So those are just, basic run-of-the-mill questions. What challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I didn't think about that. Especially since we've been streaming on the internet. We've been streaming on Twitch for about 6 years now. And I would say if I could relate it to that, when we first started streaming on Twitch, getting comfortable in front of the camera was huge. I was so uncomfortable in the beginning. Everything was awkward. I was like overanalyzing how I looked. Watching the videos was super cringy. But since we've been doing it for 6 years, I don't know. I don't feel a lot of challenges. I'm sure there's going to be some. There always is. There's never not a challenge. And I'm up to face and meet those challenges. I'm trying to think what else. I read a lot and I read voraciously, so I've never had a problem not having a quantity of books to read. I read at least one a week, sometimes two. So I'm a pretty fast reader, so I don't think that will be an issue. I guess we'll just have to see what challenges arise. But if I was just starting and I had never streamed and never been in front of a camera and had to talk to either a live audience and this, that, and the other, I would say being in front of a camera would probably be that, but I don't feel that way anymore because it's been so long since I've been being on the internet, being a goofball. So, yes. We'll see what challenges arrive, whatever. Okay. Next question. When did you start reading? Well, as I said, as a kid, I had a book memorized and pretended to read it as early as I can remember. At 5, maybe? I think by kindergarten I could read simple words. And then, yeah, I don't, when I was a little kid. So where do I read? Most of the time I read in bed. Sometimes I will read, we have this, I don't even know what to call this room. It's kind of like a little back room in our house that leads out to the back deck. And I have a table of all my plants that I keep back there. And we also have this old like vintage cupboard that has our record player and all our records. And sometimes I'll just sit back there on the floor because it's got just a real nice vibe. It's nice to sit there and read. And then Mittens, Dr. Mittens, the cat, will sometimes come join me and we chill in there. But mainly in bed, to be honest. Okay, and the last question number 10, is what kind of books do you like to read? I am not set in stone with any one kind of book. I am all over the map. If I find a subject that interests me, I will read about it intensely. So I do like to read a lot of weird paranormal stuff. Okay, I'll tell you what I don't like to read. I don't read romance. No paranormal romance, no regular romance. If it's in a fiction book, that's fine. I don't mind that being part of a great story, but I'm not too into romance. I like horror. I like nonfiction, weird stuff, fantasy, sci-fi, historical fiction, some YA. But yeah, I don't really, like I said, I think the only thing I don't really read is romance. Everything else I'm pretty open to reading and whatnot. All right, so that was the 10th and final question of the Booktube Newbie Tag. That was kind of fun. I briefly glanced at these before I even started this, so had no idea really what I was going to say about any of this. So it's as much as a surprise to me as it is to you, or maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Till next time, keep reading, stay safe out there, and explore the world.